With new information being revealed recently, I have a big question. Have Taylor Lewan's chances at signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason increased, or have they taken a hit? First, we need to discuss his appearance on the Steel Here podcast just a couple days ago. And before we need to wonder if he's going to be a Steeler or not, we need to know if he still wants to play in the NFL.
There's probably still a fire that burns in me to play football a little bit. I'd be lying. I wouldn't be taking this conversation with you if I wasn't somewhat interested in playing the game of football another year. Can I be a dominant football player in the NFL? If the answer to that is yes, you've checked off one box there. The next thing is what is my why? And obviously it's easy for me. Well, I have a wife, I have 2 kids, life is fantastic. And it's is it help my family by me playing football more, or does it hurt my family?
Actually still wanting to play the game of football. Kind of an important factor if you're going to play the game of football. He's got a lot going on here. 9 years in the league already, has made a shit ton of money. 2 ACL injuries over the last 3 years. Like he mentioned, has a family, 2 kids. Has a dope podcast going over with Barstool Sports. So he's got a lot of options here. And he goes on to say that he's lost some weight. So if he does decide to play, he's going to have to gain that back. That's a commitment. He's going to still want to play at an elite level and not want to go out there and half-ass it. So these are all the things that are at play right now. Based off this response, I would say chances remain the same because these are all the same factors that we knew before he did this interview. Lewan also goes on to talk about what head coach he'd like to play for if he still does decide to play football.
Mike Tomlin was the head coach of the Pro Bowl, I think 2017 or something like that. Being a leader of men is a very difficult thing to do. And when I was around him for that short week in a very calm and relaxing setting, I thought to myself, man, this is a cool coach to play for.
Mike Tomlin is currently the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, so it sounds like Lewan's chances of signing here increased a little bit. But now we got to talk about money.
Jump to 7.
1 year, $7 million.
No.
8, 1 year.
No.
9, 1 year.
No.
Double digits now. 1 year, $10 million.
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, last one. Yes, no, maybe. 1 year, $12.5 million. That's the number. I got you. That's the number.
His tune clearly changed at $10 million. He went from no to maybe. So that is the number we are working with. 1 year, $10 million. Is that something the Steelers can do? I suppose if I was thinking that, 1 year, $7 or $8 million, what's a $2 to $3 million increase? And maybe they can meet halfway if Lewan's thinking around 10 or 12, whatever. Maybe can we drop it to 8.5, 9? And all the deals suggested here were just for 1 year. I feel like the Steelers could make that work. And since it is just 1 year, it wouldn't be anything where they're leveraging their future or they lose any flexibility in the upcoming offseason. So, yeah, I would say chances based off this contract discussion would increase slightly. I think that's a number that both sides can work with. 1 year, $10 million, you could go up or down from that. But now we have some even newer information that may completely nuke this deal. Apparently, Lewan has been trying to get TJ Watt on his podcast for some time, but TJ Watt has kept denying him. With Super Bowl week just however many days away, Lewan, with his podcast, will be down on Radio Row. Just so happens TJ Watt will also be on Radio Row. So Lewan decided to send out another invitation to come on the podcast. And again, TJ Watt said no. And this might be the reason why.
No, he just denied us for the 3rd time in a row. I don't know. That's just, if they want us to be teammates, it kind of just feels like that's bad teammate vibes, right? We've had our past. Yeah, I spit in his face. I hit him in the nuts one time. That is, listen, hand up. That's on me. But damn, boys. Can we turn a page?
And I also dug deep and did a little bit of Big Deke News research. and found some more backstory on this situation.
TJ's rookie year, I spit in his face during the game. Fourth quarter was an absolute blowout. So like in the fourth quarter, he's obviously rushing super hard. Like he's like talking shit to me and there's nothing I can really say back. So I look up and I spit and it goes through his face mask onto hits him right here. And then he starts calling me a disgrace to football and all this different stuff.
What a douchebag.
Totally fair. After the game, him and Bud Dupree come up to me, basically calling me a bitch ass and telling me that they're going to meet me outside the bus and they're going to beat the shit out of me. Then I went in the locker room and basically told any teammate that would listen, hey, I need you guys to walk out with me to the bus. I'm about to get the shit kicked out of me. No one came. Everybody's on the bus, dude.
Yeah, Taylor.
I go on the bus and I come back out the bus and I'm literally standing outside the bus waiting and I see both of them walking. And I don't know if they looked in my brain the way I remember the story. They did look, but I don't think they did look. And they kept walking. So
I guess TJ and Bud were really that duo on and off the field. But back to what this means for the prospects of Taylor Lewan signing with the Steelers. I'd say this instance doesn't help, but I don't think it necessarily hurts. Spitting in someone's face, like, yeah, that's low. Like, nah. But I don't really think the effects of that would carry over if both guys join forces and are on the same team, because I feel like it's just one of those things you get over. It's water under the bridge. It's football. One team, one goal. I mean, it's happened before in sports. Think Jordan versus the Bad Boy Pistons and Dennis Rodman. What team did Dennis Rodman eventually sign with later in his career? The Chicago Bulls. How many championships did Jordan and Rodman win together? 3. So, yeah, I just feel like it's one of those things. You don't necessarily have to like each other, but you can still be good teammates. You could still put together a good team. Yeah, if you guys have any other examples of this, just drop them down in the comments. I'd say right now, when you do all the calculations, Lewan's chances of signing with the Steelers are about at 35%. Think of all the factors at play. First, Lewan needs to decide if he still wants to play football. That's one thing. Next, what team? I would say the Steelers have the inside track right now. They're probably, if not first, they're one of the top 2 or 3 teams he'd like to play for. Well, I guess the Titans still need to cut him first because he's still on the Titans roster, but that's a foregone conclusion. Next, the Steelers have to be interested in bringing in Lewan, and we don't really have any signs of if that's the case or not. And then if Steelers are interested, Lewan is interested, what is the contract number? That is the next hurdle in all of this. And then you have the TJ Watt situation. Not the best of vibes right there, but again, I don't really think that affects the chances of Lewan signing here. Yeah, so I get to around 30 to 35%. End of the day, I think it could be a good deal, but that's not really saying much because any deal or signing could be a good move. It's just the problem with this one is the injuries, because if we saw him recently, he was able to play a full season and he was completely washed, then yeah, no worries, forget about it. But it's the injuries where you're just like, people have recovered from injuries, came back, and have played well. People have also had injuries and then have faded away. That's the thing. Can the dude still play? What's he like from these 2 ACL injuries after 3 years? And will he possibly get hurt again? If we knew he was going to play a full season, he could be like 80 to 90% of his prime. I feel like this is a no-brainer. But that's all the other stuff at play. I do think on one side of it, he does bring that veteran presence. He could be like Cam Hayward to this offensive line, bring that hard-nosed edge that he's played with the Titans, which is also the type of mentality we like here in Pittsburgh. That's what we call Steeler football. And that's an edge that I'd say we've lacked in recent years. Now, I do think we've absolutely picked it up, particularly after the bye week in this season. Like, we got back to our identity, hard-nosed football, running the ball. But we don't really have like that veteran presence on this offense or on this offensive line, and Lewan may be able to bring that. So I'm all over the place with this deal. If it's 1 year, 7 or 8 million, I think it's once you start getting up to the 10 million, I start becoming iffy on it. But I do think, if the Steelers do sign him, I think we're all going to be pumped about it because of the possibility of what it could mean to this team. And yeah, if he is the Taylor Lewan of old, at least to some degree, It could bring some big impact. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you want Taylor Lewan? Do any of these answers or any of this new information make you lean one way or another with the chances of him actually signing here? But yeah, stay chilling. Hope you guys enjoyed on Thursday. Almost the weekend. Stay safe out there. Stay chilling. Peace.